It's no secret that a lot of the people who tried Wuthering Waves back when it was released quickly abandoned the game due to either banging their heads on multiple bugs.
Absorb, motherfucker. Okay, well, the game froze again.
The server connectivity feeling like you were playing out of an abandoned Somali pirate ship in the middle of a stormy sea, or just having the game crashing altogether. But with the 1 year anniversary getting closer and closer, and with patches 2.0 and 2.1 coming out recently, I thought I'd give the game another chance while documenting my experience to try and answer one question. Is Wuthering Waves worth coming back to, or even starting in 2025? I'm gonna be honest with you, there is a lot to unpack with this game when you first start. Just like with every gacha out there, there is all these different types of currencies and whatnot, and I'm not gonna bore you by running through all of them. Also, as a heads up, I've already covered Genshin in this format. Make sure to check that video out. But I'll do my best not to compare the two games. Even though they are fairly similar in scope, the games are very different in terms of playstyle. Also, since we're on the topic of currencies and Genshin, then make sure to check out lootbar.gg, a website that offers top-ups for both Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail at much better price, and the sponsor of this video. With Lootbar, you can get prices up to 23% cheaper and an 8% off coupon code for new users to get started in the best way possible. Take this package for example, why would you not want to get more value out of your money? And I know this is all great, but what's even better is the fact that Lootbar is completely safe, boasting both great reviews and having cooperated with multiple well-known creators such as Raiden Shotgun, NoCap, Dukaja, and many more. So here's how easy and fast it is to top up, only requiring your user ID and server region. After all, Lootbar has the exact same routing as the in-game store, so if for example you want to top up 6400 crystals, you'll get the top up bonus you're familiar with, which is twice the crystals, only at a much better price and with the delivery being done within half an hour. But it gets even better, since with Lootbar you can purchase 4 6400 Genesis crystal packs for only $295 with only one convenient payment operation, saving you nearly $100 in the process. So don't walk, run to the website and get yourself the best deals possible and exclusive discounts by using the links in the description and pinned comment. So since bugs and crashes have made a lot of people quit on release, I think it would make a lot of sense to cover those issues first. And I think to no one's surprise, most of the game-breaking bugs have been fixed. Now, this comes with a bit of a curveball. If you're planning on playing this game, please install it on an SSD. I initially had it on my trusty old hard drive, and it's safe to say that I've had tons of issues and bugs because of that. It's pretty much why there's no footage from the beginning of the game. All of the footage I had was laggy as hell, and the sound would just keep cutting out. But after moving it to my SSD, all of these bugs and errors have been fixed, so keep that in mind if you try and play the game. Now, there's two more things that I think are really important before we get into actual gameplay, which is connectivity and performance. And for connectivity, I'm happy to report that I'm no longer a Somali pirate in the middle of a stormy sea. All my issues with network lags and stutters have been resolved. As for performance, the game feels great. I've had zero crashes, but I will have to point out that this game is a lot more resource intensive than Genshin, so this is something you might want to keep in mind. The gacha system in Wuthering Waves is better than most other games, to be honest. With its PT being at 80 pulls and also having no 50-50 on the weapons banner, it makes it for definitely one of the better gacha systems out there. But at the end of the day, gacha is gacha and gacha is gambling, so please be careful not to be tricked into spending, especially if you cannot afford to spend the money. Obviously, while playing the game, a vast majority of your time will be spent questing. And I have to admit, when the game released, a lot of the voice acting was just hot dog water. Some of the lines legit felt like the VA had been lobotomized in the booth prior to recording. And this, I'm happy to report, is something that's been improved on with recent patches. If you still hate the voice lines, however, you will be happy to find out that this game has a feature that Genshin players have been asking for since single-cell organisms were the only thing around, which is a skip button. This feature is a lifesaver, not only in terms of time if you want to catch up to present-day content, but also if you're sick of listening to boring quest lines. And since we're talking about questing and voice acting, I think it's fair to also touch on the story for a bit, which I don't have much to talk about in terms of story, and I don't want to spoil it too much in case you are a lore nerd, but just know, being the rover, you will be absolutely wanked by every single NPC around you, so be prepared to deal with that. When it comes to character building and leveling up, thankfully, unlike a certain game that likes a much needed skip dialogue button, Wuthering Waves also does a good job of allowing new players to build newer characters. This is in part due to the ecosystem not being as limited as the Genshin artifact system, but also due to the game having a feature that allows you to skip to the latest regions early in the game so you can gather the materials you need. And since we're talking about the early game and skipping through regions and stuff, I think it's time to talk about how Wuthering Waves handles level gating and how it helps new players catch up. So unlike Genshin, where I was getting cock-blocked at every corner trying to play through the story when I was recording for that video, Wuthering Waves had level gated me only once around level 9, I needed Union level 11 to move forward with the main quest line. But getting level 11 took literally, and you're not ready, 15 minutes, because all I had to do was complete the Inland story quest, which I did by hastily skipping through all of it. And by the end of it, I was easily level 11, which allowed me to move forward with the main quest line. Now, the biggest surprise was a feature which I think every single game in this genre should have, and any developer who's not implementing it is missing a massively good opportunity to get newer players in. The feature I'm talking about is the ability to skip straight to present day or the newest region. It literally took me around 2 hours of going through the main quest line to get to level 14, after which I was prompted with a pop-up that allowed me to skip the Black Shores quest line and whatever I had left from the first region, all while giving me a TLDR breakdown of the story that I'm skipping. And then it threw me straight into the new region. This makes Wuthering Waves easily the best experience I ever had starting a game from scratch, where I had to catch up with the story and regions. If you're wondering about the combat system, it's pretty much the same as when the game came out. You still have your iframe dodges and counters and all that, which make for a better system than any other gacha game in my opinion, although this is debatable as everybody likes different things. I will say, however, that with this combat system, the game allows you to go full David vs Goliath boss fight mode, where you can fight something way above your weight class and come out on top, which, for me, a Dark Souls and Elden Ring nerd, is a gift from Lord Jesus himself. And as an example, I'll give you my fight with Scar, which took like 5 minutes because I hadn't built anything on my characters besides leveling them up to 20. And I was basically doing 0 damage. But it was insanely fun because I had to learn his attack patterns, to dodge properly, which didn't always happen, and to counter at the right moment, which also didn't always happen. But when I finished the fight, it felt like I had actually accomplished something, which is a refreshing feeling I hadn't experienced ever in any gacha yet. This obviously can be avoided if you're not stubborn like me and spend like 15 minutes farming echoes to somewhat build your characters at least, but you know, I'm not that smart. When it comes to power creep, the power creep situation in Wuthering Waves is in a pretty sweet spot compared to other games. This is in part due to the game being new, but also due to its combat system, which makes it very easy to keep most characters relevant. So far, newer characters have been somewhat stronger in terms of DPS than older characters, but this hasn't influenced the ability of a player with an older roster to complete endgame content, or at least as far as I was able to gather. So whether power creep is a problem in this game comes down to your own idea of what power creep is. Does power creep occur when a newer unit has better numbers than an old one, while not rendering the old unit useless? If yes, then the game might have a power creep issue for you specifically. But in my opinion, true power creep happens when a new unit renders the old one completely useless, looking at you, Movika. So for me, Wuthering Waves has the furthest thing from a power creep problem at the moment. Now obviously I might be wrong, there could be some underlying power creep issues that I'm completely overlooking, so I'm really looking forward to your opinion on this. Let me know in the comments if I overlooked something. I really am curious what you guys think about this. Now when I made the Genshin video with the same theme, one reason I mentioned that the game is worth picking up currently is due to the newer characters having much higher mobility than older ones, making the exploration experience a lot better than it used to be. Now I could go on and on about how Wuthering Waves tackle exploration, but I'll just make it quick and simple. There has not been a singular game that I've played that makes the exploration easier than this game. Obviously there are puzzles that are a tad bit more complicated, but it don't require you to know a ton of intricate mechanics to be able to get them done, and this is very nice. Also, this is without even mentioning that you can run up walls, you have movement tech that helps you reach higher places, and in the new region, you can basically fly unbothered. When it comes to developers and game direction, this is something that hits kinda close home, because I've recently made a video about Genshin Impact and the reasons it's been getting hate lately. While some of my opinions from that video have changed, my point on power creep to be exact, the main problem there still stands. The game lacks proper direction, and it's struggling to hold on to its original identity, which has been driving people away. Thankfully for players who want to try this game, this isn't really a problem here. The developers have done an absolutely fantastic job with the release of 2.0. The new region has corrected issues I for one had in the past, such as the environment having depressing colors. The new characters from this region have been amazing and they still make sense within the game. Everything is a lot more polished, and on top of all of that, the developers are a lot nicer with their free rewards. So in the end, I think Wuthering Waves is one of the games, or gacha games, I have the easiest time recommending for new players. Its features and functions make it very easy to catch up, and they even eliminate issues other games have because of this, such as building newly released characters you might get when you're just starting your account. These features alone make it very easy to get into, and combine this with the more forgiving gacha system and the developers being, for the most part, pretty generous with their free rewards, and you can easily see how this becomes a game that's hard not to recommend. But this was pretty much it for the video today. Thank you so much for staying up until the very end. Make sure to subscribe if you want to be kept up to date with uploads and streams. It would really mean a lot to me. And also like the video if you enjoyed it. While at it, make sure to join our Discord community server where you can find like-minded people, as I said before. And again, thank you so much. See ya.